Alessandra Esteves here with Florida Wine Academy. We're very excited to host Grandes Pagos de España event today in Miami. Today is April 3rd, and we are at the beautiful Miami Culinary Institute. We are going to taste 6 wines and talk about the history and what makes Grandes Pagos de España so special. So come with me. Of terroir is a piece of land that through history has produced some great wines or some typical wines based on the location, its climate, its soil, the grape variety, and viticulture, for instance. In the case of Grandes Pagos de España, terroir is so important because each member really tries to take the best of the soil and the land that they have, working with the grape varieties that do well in that spot, and also respecting the climate and respecting the sustainability. All right, good morning everyone. Happy Monday, and this is how we are supposed to start our Mondays, right? I just wish every Monday was like this. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Alessandra Esteves. Very happy to see some of you again. Very happy to meet some of you. Welcome to the beautiful Food and Wine Theater from the Miami Culinary Institute. And thanks, Jim, for hosting us in here. Yes. And this is where we do our domesticity classes as well. So for those of you who do not know me, so Alessandra Esteves, I'm the founder and director of wine education for Florida Wine Academy. So we teach a lot of courses here in Miami, and we have some people from my team in here. So Rebecca, Janelle, and then some of our lovely educators, Sarah and Lynn. Yes. So welcome everyone. It's going to be a great day today. We're going to taste 6 wines and talk about Spanish wine. So thank you for taking the time on this busy Monday morning to be here with us. Just to start a little bit on this terroir workshop, this is actually, so you all be invited to taste some excellent Spanish wines from Grandes Pagos de España, but we are actually launching a global wine education initiative. And I'm very, very happy to announce that. So this is the first city in the US that we are launching this program. I am one of the ambassadors, and then there's Monica in Los Angeles, and then we have Sandra in Mexico, but all part of the Grandes Pagos de España to launch this and to educate people on these wineries and their terroir and their excellent wines as well. So welcome everyone. I wanted to, before introducing you to the people right next to me, so this is the family of the Grandes Pagos de España, 36 wineries as of right now, and they will talk a little bit about, the numbers and the history and the philosophy about all of these wineries, but you can definitely see and recognize some great names in here and some of the best wines produced in Spain by these people. And what is very interesting also about the Grandes Pagos, and I was very fortunate to travel to Spain last September with them, and I visited most of the wineries and tasted all of the wines. Just like as it says on the presentation, the members aim to preserve the terroir identity and to produce state wines, and this is very important, and we will understand that when we talk about Pago later, in harmony with the soil, nature, and climate of each state. So really excited to taste 6 wines and discover more about these wineries in here today. So with me, Beatriz from Grandes Pagos de España. Welcome to Miami. This is, yes, the first of a few events that we'll do together, right? And Álvaro from Abadía de Tuerta. So we'll talk a lot about, his wines taste Abadía as well. So without any further ado, Álvaro, please.
Okay. Hello everyone. Okay, we're gonna test. Sí. Okay. We're going to taste a few wines representing a little bit the all terroirs of Spain and wineries that are part of Grandes Pagos de España. Okay? So Spain is quite an interesting country, the wine producing country, because it has a huge diversity of climates, especially in the green Spain, northern Spain, is where the winds come from the ocean, and these winds go against the mountains, like the Cantabrican range, and is a very humid, quite rainy part of Spain. And then we have the different mesetas or plateaus, and also the Mediterranean side. We will be gonna go deeper inside all of these in today's testing. And to make it more, let's say, digestible, we separated all of the wines from Grandes Pagos in these, let's see, 8 regions that we're gonna present some of them. Those are all the wineries. As you can see, Grandes Pagos de España is represented in most territories. We could be inside the appellation or outside the appellation. What is more important is the philosophy and the way of working, as Alessandra explained. Terroir-based wines. All of the wineries have their own vineyards. They could also control some of them, but trying to tell about the wines should tell about the place of origin. Okay, so in Spain, how we organize in terms of appellations, or denominaciones de origen. There's like 2 chapters in a way. Number 1 would be DOP, Denominación de Origen Protegida, Protected Denomination of Origin, in which we can find 4 categories. Okay, from down to the upper part is Vino de Calidad, which is actually for newer regions that they need to prove in 5 years' time that they're able to produce quality wines enough to be a DO, which is to be the second step. And then DOCA, which is Denominación de Origen Calificada, which the difference to the DO basically is that they only can sell wine, bottled wine, and they cannot sell in bulk. And then Vino de Pago, which would be the top of the 4, and the same. They're all 4 under the same umbrella, DOP. And Vino de Pago is more, let's see, site restricted in a way. So this is granted. I think only 21 wineries who has this designation in Spain, and usually is linked to a single territory with 1 winery that has some little differences to the environment and the other flowers. And then we obviously have Vino de la Tierra, IGP, is a little bit like more generic, like Pan de Paris. And of course, Vino, that formerly was Vino de Mesa, or table wine, but now is just Vino because authorities thought the Mesa was a little bit more, it's not good enough, some pejorative way to learn about wines. So in Grandes Pagos, we can find wines from any region, or from any destination. Like I said before, the wines should speak for themselves and the quality, and also the regions where they come from. And this is the people. This is also tells about the wines, and I think Beatriz, you're better than I want to explain about the history of how this was created.
Hi, hello. Thank you for being here with us today. I'm going to explain in a few minutes how did we become to exist. So what happened in Spain in the year 2000, there were 5 wineries at the center of the peninsula that were out of any appellation and were producing really high standard wines, high quality wines. And they thought, well, we are doing this here and nobody takes care about us because nobody knows we exist and we are here. So they got together and they founded Grandes Pagos de España in the year 2000. It was before the law of the Vino de Pago appeared. Themselves, they helped to promote and to create the wine law, the Pago wine law in Spain. That was in the year 2003. What happened is many of the wineries surrounding out of this area that was called Castilla said, we want to belong to this association, we want to be part of new philosophy, and more wineries were coming. So in year 2004 they changed the name, not Castilla, because it was the original region, to Grandes Pagos de España. And now, about, well, it's 23 years after, we are 36 wineries at the moment. Yeah, and many more. Well, there are a lot of people who want to enter, but we are very restrictive and we have a lot of conditions. Some figures about us so you can make an idea of how big, how small we are. So we said 36 wineries around Spain. That means about 5,400,000 bottles. All of them, as Albert explained, has to be single state production. So you can only elaborate wine with your own grapes. You cannot buy grapes, never. And the sizes of the wineries, most of them, the 18 wineries, have less than 16,000 cases. This is a Spanish case that is 6 bottles, so it's 9-liter case. Yeah. So we are medium-sized wineries. None of our wineries is bigger than 500,000 bottles. They are all quite small, and so you can understand how we work. We have a contribution every year, and they pay according to the number of bottles they elaborate. So we want to be democratic and make it easier for small wineries to belong to Grandes Pagos de España. Concerning the size, you have the acres, so hectares. So that means like a medium appellation in Spain, like Priorat size would have in the amount of acres. And the varieties, at the moment, we have more whites than reds. That's quite strange, but white wines are getting very big in Spain, and we are getting wines with aging and being important. So we have 28 reds and 32 whites. And I think now it's time for starting.
Yeah. Sorry. I speak really loudly. I really don't need a mic, but just so everybody can hear. So one thing. So okay, I'm not using this. So when I travel to Spain, are we good with the sound? Yes. Okay. When I traveled to Spain last year, a lot of people ask me, okay, what's the difference between Vino de Pago and Grandes Pagos? Because I really cannot understand, right? And as an educator, I'm always trying to break down things to make it easier for people to understand. So if we apply this to France, which we all understand a little better, so Vino de Pago, and when we talk about Pago in Spanish, that means the Grand Cru vineyards, right? So we are talking about a single vineyard, single state, the Grand Cru. Now, Grandes Pagos de España is an association, like the Union de Grand Cru de Bordeaux, like the VDP that you have in Germany. So this is an association. But you know, it is also very important to mention that they're very strict with their rules, right? So not only they do technical visits in all these properties, but they do tastings as well every year, right? Yeah. So every year, and so that means, you know, the wineries that are members of the Grandes Pagos de España, we are really talking about Grand Cru wines of Spain, okay? And this is what they are trying to promote and to see, right? Okay, all good? All right, we'll start pouring wine number 1, which is the Gramona, and meanwhile, I will talk about a little bit about the region and the winery. Please interrupt me anytime if you have any questions, comments. I encourage participation, and also, you know, when you're tasting the wine. So we'll start the journey of this, you know, mini masterclass where we are going to taste very different wines. So we will start the journey with the Catalonia region. And we are here at this region in Spain. You know, Mediterranean Sea obviously makes a lot of influence in the climate in here. There are some high altitude wineries as well, up to 900 meters, and soils are varied in here. So there is some slate, granite, calcareous clay, depending where you are. Priorat, Penedès, Montsant, Cava, Catalunya, these are all famous appellations from the Catalonia region, okay? So think about, you know, the Mediterranean Sea and the network or the local rivers moderate the temperature in here. And then you have high diurnal shift in altitude, obviously. So these are the wineries, member of Grandes Pagos de España, so Gramona in 2010, and you have, you know, Masterclass in the Priorat region as well. And today we will be focused, thank you so much, in Gramona. Alright, so we are going with Google Earth, is taking us on a journey to their winery. Have you visited Gramona before? Any of you? Yes? Okay. Yes. Very cool. Yes. Alright. Yes, so this is the winery. And you can see here some vineyards in, you know, terraces, some rolling hills. And yes, so very near Barcelona, great history of this family being working since the mid-19th century. By 1945, Gramona emerged of a, you know, a very high quality of sparkling wine producer for long aging. Today, Gramona is part of the Corpinat family, not Cava. So they wanted to produce a more high quality product, so they are Corpinats. In total, they have 370 acres. Only 308 are approved as Grandes Pagos de España. Key varietals, so Xarel·lo, Macabeo, Parellada, so they use the traditional varietals. They are certified biodynamic, and plus they use, you know, geothermal, solar energy, electric vehicles, water conservation. So all of this that, you know, it is what Grandes Pagos, it's likes the sustainable. And they are, they do some very long aging as well in the cellar, okay? So, yes, biodynamic agriculture, and in there, Mediterranean climate, hot, dry summers, moderate winters. And then the altitudes, the elevation in here is between 100 and 350 meters. Clay and calcareous soils, and there's some slate toward the Montserrat mountains. And yes, biodynamic principles, they maintain the natural grass cover, and yes, use vegetal compounds in their viticulture. So what we are tasting today is Gramona Imperial Corpinat. You can see the breakdown of varieties in here. Oh, okay. All right, so we are tasting tres lustros, so 3 lustros. So this is only Xarel·lo and Macabeo. 80 months under lees, 80 months. So it is very long aging on the lees. You see that the Gramona Imperial is 50, which is already very long. So yes, so now these grapes are coming from a pago, so a single vineyard called Fond de Huy. Yes, 80 months of the lease. And, okay, yes, and this is 2014. Yes.
So when you're a member of the Grandes Pagos, you're not then part of another DO, like,
You are.
yeah. So they would have members in their regional area and also in Grandes Pagos. They're exclusive.
One we can be,
Like if you're in Rioja, if you're in,
yes, legally they are, Rioja, Girato in this case.
Yes.
It was Cava, now it's Corpina, which is another private association. And then on top of that, you can join a private association. So you can be also inside the appellation.
and you can qualify for both, but this is with their own.
Because there's a lot of synergies among all 76 wineries in order to promote their brands, in order to get togethers that we do with different winemakers.
But the creation of it was because the DO didn't exist in Castilla.
That's right, that was the origin.
The origin of
Yeah,
it.
because in Spain in the 90s, they were only existing wines inside the DOs. The rest is like they didn't exist. So the people, some initiatives outside the appellation, we said, hey, we're here, we're making some good wine, let's get together and make some wines. That's actually the reason.
There's some wineries that already have Pago in their name. Are they automatically working? Are any of them in your?
So let me repeat the question. So she's asking, there are some wineries that have Pago in their names, and the question was if this is automatically added or not.
Okay. This is a general confusion. I mean, it's difficult to explain. Okay, when the wine law in Spain got created was 2005, and they created this Vino de Pago designation, the Grand Cru of Spain, which comes last. But when they created Vino de Pago, they protected the brand Pago. No? But at the same time, there were some wineries using actually the word Pago in their brand. So those who had the brand, the name, the term Pago in the brands before the law was created, they could keep it for their own. With a little literature in the back stating that this was registered before the law. So this is why this wines are Pago, actually Pago Negradada. It was one of the examples of this. This was registered before the law. Now we can use it because we are Vino de Pago. This became effective in 2022. We were, upgraded Vino de Pago just last year. But there's some Pago Capella and Pago Caravaggio.
Yeah, very good question. Okay, yes.
Could you please give us the main differences between Cava and Corpinet? Is Corpinet regulated by the main body in Catalonia?
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Well, Cava is a legal and state DO, and Corpina is a private DO. So some wineries got out of Cava DO and created their own private association that is called Corpinas with their own regulation.
So it's not regulated by
By the state, no, it's private. It's private. They wanted to, they were not, they didn't agree with some of the laws that were in Cava, and they decided, politicians, yeah, so they got out of the deal.
Corpina and Grandes Pagos de España could be similar, they're private associations. The thing is, Corpina, some wineries, they were making Cava, but there were some very low price Cava. So they didn't want to be linked to those cheap wines that they were producing in the region. So they were sort of claiming also that, hey, we're making some interesting wines, some very good wines, the bubbles, I don't know, sparkling wines. So we create Corpina.
Next question. So most cavas come from Captain. But how is it that we have cavas that are
spread out in other places besides there?
Yeah, this, another good question. Cava is a multi-region DO. It is much more than linked to a region. It's much more linked to a way of winemaking. So at that point, when the DO was created, they took a look in Spain where the sparkling wines were made traditionally, and this, we can find some in Extremadura. We can find even some in Rioja, some in Valencia, and some other regions of Spain. But mainly, I mean, I would say 95% will come from Catalonia.
All right, so this, what we are tasting is vintage 2014, 80 months on the lease, like I said. So any comments? What do you think about the wine? Exceptional, right? Yes, yes. I think what's fascinating, so you know, of course on the nose you have all these aromas of yeast, so the brioche, the bread, bakery styles of aromas, but it's very creamy on the palate. It's so soft, the bubbles are so soft and creamy, very long finish, so yeah, I think it is delicious, yes.
Do they produce wines every year, vintage wines, or only in your special years?
So I believe only good vintages. You know, unfortunately, all the winemakers still depend on the climate to produce great wines. But because this Lustros is a special wine, very long aged on the leaf, so of course it's going to come in very good vintages. Yeah. Yes.
Do you have a retail price for this?
I do not. Anyone know the retail price?
About $50 to $70. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. $50 to $70. That's good, right? Yes. That's excellent. All right. So yeah, that was a happy start to our Monday morning. Very complex wine, you know, and still age-worthy, right? So 2014, we're almost reaching 9-10 years of age, but it is so fresh. And you know, this high acidity will keep the wine aging for longer. So this is definitely, you know, a sparkling wine made in Spain, a Corkinat that can age. So proving the very high quality of this. And yes, and not only, you know, it's a long aging, it is a vintage wine, but it's also coming from this single vineyard. So you're seeing all the quality because of this.
I will also add, I mean, the really fine bubbles, you know, after the aging so many months, it's great, this creamy, mouth-filling wine. And also you can for sparkling wine, you can fit some body into it, because the Xarel-lo, which is, it was known as like a second division varietal for a long time. Now the new way of viticulture and managing this more low yields in a way, they found that it's fantastic for aging, and it also adds this value to this wine. So it's now the trendy varietal in Catalonia and Cava.
Absolutely. Yep. All right. So with that, and I will, before we leave, I'm gonna share this image and top 3 takeaways from Gramona. So they saw the potential of Xarel-lo in 1951 to produce age-worthy single varietal sparkling wine. Lustros that we tasted aged for 80 months. And the biodynamic farm is also home to, chickens, dogs, geese, peacocks, and so on. Top wine producer in Spain and excellent wine. All right, so now we will be ready. And here's just some more pictures of the winery and the family. You want to talk about the family a little bit?
Well, the family Gramona is very well known, Xavier and Jaume. Jaume is actually one of the top wine educators in terms of biodynamics and all the schools in Spain. His son Rock is also with Pruning Academy, which is a major concern now in Spain, that we have lots of old wines, but at the same time we not well managed, can lose this potential. And pruning is key to really maintain vines so they can live many years. So it's a very well known family. And they also produce not only sparkling wines, which this is their major business, but also some light wines, wines and grapes, and they do a lot of research in this case.
All right, so now we are going to get ready to move into Green Spain region. And Green Spain has this name because, yes, vineyards and the amount of rain that they receive. So 2 wineries, Filha Boa and Asturiza. So Filha Boa in Rias Baixas joined in 2004, and then Asturiza more recently in 2019. So we'll focus today in Filha Boa, and yes, location for them is Pontevedra, and the DO for them is Rias Baixas. So yes, they are DO Rias Baixas, and they are Grandes Pagos de España. They have 50 hectares divided into 12 parcels, and 45 hectares are GPE approved, so approved from Grandes Pagos de España. 100% Albarino in here, no other grape. Very committed to biodiversity. Vineyards have olive trees, lots of garden, and what they are doing currently is really pushing the limits of Albarino, and showing the potential of yeast aging for Albarino, which is a high acid variety and which can then age. So, winemaker Isabel Salgado, and then the owner Jose Macabeo. So, and I know some people from Miami who were in visiting Filha Boa last year, so Janelle and Marcelo were there. So do you have any comments about the winery? Marcelo, you first.
I mean, a very special winery. Isabel's very interesting woman and amazing winemaker. They went there, we were very well welcomed. The wine is beautiful, I mean, lots of pieces of art. She took us to see the whole vineyard, as Janelle remembered me today, with the Jeep, right, Janelle? Really so, I mean, very, very interesting. And I love the wines. And I brought the wines just for him as well, because I mean, it changed the way I saw Albarino.
Nice, yeah. And so, their climate is Atlantic, so very mild temperatures, but lots of rain during the winter and fall. So Janelle, the region is called Green Spain, right? So, and lots of rain. So is there a connection between them?
Definitely. When I was there, Alessandra was in a different region. So we were sending pictures back and forth, and it doesn't even look like you're in the same country because it's so different. But it's absolutely beautiful, completely green. And like Marcella was saying, Isabella is a lovely woman. She's about 5'2", super petite, and she gets in this Jeep that's stick shift and takes it all the way up to the top of the mountain. And we thought we were barely going to make it, but she wanted us to see the view of the Minho River, Portugal on the other side, and just surrounded by greenery. It was absolutely beautiful. So it was an unreal experience to really see what Green Spain is all about. Right, Marcella? Yes, it was complete.
Yeah. Yes. So yes, up to 150 meters, and then granite and alluvial soils with some river stones as well. Very focused in terroir, and all of these Spanish wineries, members of Grandes Pagos de España, they focus a lot on terroir. I'm excited to talk about Bobal later. And then vines that are cultivated here in the Parral and Espaldera system just because of the high humidity. So you need that airflow, otherwise you'll have problems with diseases as well. So, and they vinify the parcels separately as well. So their wines, so Filha Boa, Rias Baixas, 100% Albarino, And they also have the Finca Monte Alto, which has a longer lease aging, so 12 months on the lease instead of the 6 months on the lease. So what we are tasting today is the Finca Monte Alto Albarino 2019. So this is 2019 vintage, 12 months on the lease plus the aging in the bottom as well. So, yeah. Yeah, no oak. But all this that you're smelling is coming from the lees aging, kind of this toasty, bready notes.
Terroir is a well-known winery in Spain, and something in particular, this Finca Monte Alto is a little Monte Alto, which means like a high hill. In this hill, they don't use the pergola train, they use more the trellis, which is rare in rare sizes. But over there, they have more sun, the wind blows, so there's less risk for the diseases, and they can manage it very well. And also, I would say it was one of the riper albarinos that we can find in rare sizes because of this. So we can feel how so floral, so intense, and with lots of concentration. And then the signature back at the palate with this crystalline. It's a very interesting one.
Yeah, any comments, any questions about the Albarino? 2019. Yeah. Exactly. So it has ability to age, and Albarino is just that very versatile grape that pairs with everything. And in this case, it is the concentration of this flavors of peach and apricot, all these stone fruits, and plus the high acidity that makes it very age-worthy as well. Albarino has some phenolic texture, so if you think about tannins in red wines, Albarino has that phenolic texture. So it's really, an interesting varietal and lots of aging potential. Yep. So top 3 takeaways from Filha Boa. So among the largest single state vineyards in the DO Rias Baixas, a chateau example in the region, which is quite unique. And then pioneers in making Albarino for aging, but without any oak. So stainless steel tanks, lots of lees aging to give texture and complexity. Right?
So there's no oak in here?
There's no oak. Yes. Okay, 2009?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, with 10, 12 years of age. Very nice. Yes, and you can see here some pictures of the vineyards and the wine areas as well. All right, and now we are going to get ready to move into the Mediterranean region, which I'm very excited about. Because for me, it was my first time being in that region, and yes, and we'll talk about this winery. So, of course, Mediterranean region, we have both very flat coastal areas and then inland hills and the mountains of Cordillera Bética and Ibérica. Mediterranean climate in general, of course, you're very close to the Mediterranean Sea. More inland, you have more extreme temperatures because it gets more continental. Rainfall in here between 400 and 500 millimeters, and then elevation can, some vineyards up to 2,700 feet. I don't think vineyards are up that high, just some properties maybe. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah, true. Soils are varied in here, but a combination of sand, limestone, and clay. And so the Mediterranean region encompasses all of this, from Valencia, Alicante, Manchuela, Jumilla, even Cava and Utiel Requena. So, but for today, so yes, these are the 3 wineries. All of them joined the Grandes Pagos in 2004. Finca Sandoval, Enrique Mendoza, and Mustiguillo, which we are going to taste today. So yes, let's take a ride to Mustiguillo. And Tony Saurion is not here today, but Paula Saurion is here. So yes, thank you for joining us. Yes, yes. So this is a beautiful property, and it is quite unique what Tony has done for the region, for Bilbao as well. Plus, he does a great paella. So after a day walking in the vineyards and then tasting multiple wines, we were rewarded with a paella that he himself made. So it was a pretty good day. So yes, you see the picture, the winemaker and owner, Tony Saurion. He's at the heart of the winery, and I think he's at the heart of Grandes Pagos as well, right? Beatriz, you want to talk? He's the current president of the Grandes Pagos de España.
Yeah, 6 years now.
6 years? Okay, yes. All right, so the location of the winery is Valencia, and the history, so the state, Mustiguillo was built and the Saurion family acquired this in the 1970s, and then Tony took over the winemaking. It is a DOP, Terroir, and they have 107 hectares across 47 plots. 2 grapes, Bobal, which is a red, Merceguera, which is a white. And it was my first time tasting Merceguera there. It was pretty unique. Certified organic, and again, as a member of Grandes Pagos, they think about sustainability, so elimination of plastics in the warehouse and packaging, and very innovative because he conducted soil analysis with Pedro Parra, which is a Chilean, very famous geologist. So we were in this, holes called calicatas in Spanish, looking at the soils and everything. So really interesting wineries. So in 2004, Quincha Corral was the first 100% Bilbao wine to be rated by Oliver Parker, 95 points. So yes, and Tony, and here you see the calicatas, the soil analysis. So you go down to be able to analyze the soil, see how the vines are growing, how the roots are growing, and see the different layers of the soil. So it's fascinating things. He's a little bit more inland in Valencia, so it is a continental climate with some Mediterranean influence. Some little less rain as well, because you're inland, and the average temperature in here is only 14 Celsius average throughout the growing season. And yes, the elevation, almost, from 2,700 feet to 3,000 feet. And Terroir has calcareous soils with dolomitic origin, and Finca Calvestra is limestone with, silty, sandy texture, and alluvial origin as well. Small plots with marls. Mustiguillo focused on Bilbao, which is very important, and the recovery of the native indigenous varietal Merceguera. Very low yields in here, and combined with other, organic farming, really produces great fruit and excellent wines. Okay. So yes, Finca Terroir is 100% Bilbao. It's what we are tasting today as wine number 3. Finca Calvestra is the 100% Merceguera. The way he vinifies the Merceguera is fantastic because it tastes like white Burgundy. No joke. So, right? It's so good, and he ferments and ages in oak barriques and acacia barrels as well. Long time on the lease, so very good. today we are focusing on Bilbao. So how many of you have tasted Bilbao before? Okay, pretty good group. All right. All right, so 100% Bilbao, it's wine number 3. Go ahead and taste the wine. Maceration, fermentation, and aging for 18 months in 35 hectoliter, 50 hectoliter French oak vats. Only fruit wine is used, so you don't have the pressed wine that have harsh tannins as well. And then he uses fruit from 2 contiguous plots planted in 1945 and 1970. So Paula, you want to share some words with us?
Sure. Can you guys hear me? So, she's the one that can tell you about the wine, how it tastes and everything. But this winery is my twin. Dad kind of started doing it when I was born in 1997. So I have 2 little sisters, and the winery is my 3rd sister. We've grown up together. It is a family affair. Everyone is involved. Actually, the winery used to be a farm that my grandpa gifted my grandma for their wedding day because my grandma found out he had another girlfriend. So, yeah. So it's been in the family for long. We turned it from a farm to a winery. And my dad has always been this rebel who doesn't want to do things the way he's told or the way people usually do them. He loves his land. He loves Valencia, and he wants to make sure that his wines represent the terroir. So that's why he does all this soil analysis. He's reading books all the time about biodynamics. How can you make sure that the land, the soil, comes through in the wine and you still keep the quality? It is amazing. If you have a chance or if there's a trip, you should go visit. Not only for the paella, but this is my dad's life. Like, I lived in the winery for 10 plus years, and we used to leave school on Fridays, drive to the winery to work with him on the weekends, and then drive to school at 7 a.m. And we live 45 minutes away, so it was a long ride in Spain. So it's beautiful. I think you can really taste like the amount of work he puts in. This is his baby. Like, we come second when it's about the winery. And he loves this. Like, these are his other daughters and sons, and I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. We recently used the Bilbao for the Spanish wine scholar. And then Patra, I heard that you were at the store on Saturday, and then you make all people buy the Bilbao. So
You had 3 bottles left. We bought them all.
yes. Okay, so that means I need more, so please send me more. But yeah, I think it is, fascinating wine and fascinating history, how these 2 varieties are being saved. And yes, and Tony is very passionate about them. He will be back in Miami, and hopefully we'll do an event with him as well. Yeah. All right, so I do not want to delay any of you. So yes, here you can see the beautiful property, and yes, 100% organic viticulture in here, conserving the surrounding flora and fauna, and a very unique microclimate because you have continental climate with Mediterranean influences and all these nearby mountains as well.